What a thrill today on Biz 101 to have Peter Thomas, an icon in the entrepreneurial business world. He's joined us before on Biz 101 to talk about his amazing program, Life Pilot, which I highly recommend. But I've asked Peter to come back and just talk about Peter, because you are you're an amazing guy. Now, we talked about Life Pilot and living by your values.
Right.
Tell us a couple of examples where you made a mistake or went off track, and how you learned from that.
Well, I've been just blessed. Yeah, I really have, Randy. I look back at my life and I'm just so blessed. But I almost went broke once, and I literally went down 150 million one day, lost it all.
I hate it when that happens.
I know, yeah. Well, actually, 70 of it I didn't have. So I was underwater by an awful lot. And what I had is, we were going ahead building a bunch of real estate, and the market turned. The market turned on us. And so we owed all this money, and it took me literally 5 years to work my way out of it. I have to tell you a funny story, because I was feeling pretty bad about this particular time in my life. And I remember, I was thinking, my gosh, I might go broke. And of course I had the boats and the jets, and I thought, oh my God, I could lose everything. And I was feeling so bad. I went home to my wife and I said, honey, things are looking pretty bad. And I said, I might just lose all my money. And I said, if I did lose my money, I said, would you still love me? And I'll never forget her advice, because she looked at me and she said, Peter, I'll always love you. I'll miss you. But she said, I'll always love you. So I thought, I better not lose that money. I better work hard.
And tip the waiters. We're here all week. I mean, that's a story, though, about the true entrepreneurs. There's an organization where you can belong, where you look at investing in other people's companies, and in order to join, you can't. It's not just that you're successful. You have to have built one, you have to have sold one, and you have to have blown one up.
Right.
I think it's called the A100. And
usually I think you learn more in your unsuccessful ventures than you do from the successful ones, and hopefully you can repeat them. And you develop a sense of, like a due diligence questions, like you've developed a way of asking people questions. And I think in business you develop a way of asking people questions. And the first thing I look at any deal I ever do is the people behind the deal. And can I work with them? Do we fit each other's, do we like to go meet each other and talk about the deal and the challenges and all this stuff and that? Can you be honest and open and transparent with that person? And the people are critically important to me. Money's got nothing to do with it. It's about the people, and how much you can make is not really important. It's, will you enjoy the process with these people? And that's, I think, every deal. The Century 21, for example, was a life-changing deal for me in so many ways. It was successful, but I met some people that were just unbelievable, the guys at the head of the deal. I'll never forget, because when I got in that trouble that we talked about, losing the money, I remember that they were, I could have lost Century 21. And the credit union actually had said they were going to take it away from me. And so he said, I'd like to meet the guys that, would you, Peter, introduce me to the guys that own Century 21? I said, yeah, I guess I have to. Yes, I will. So we flew down to Los Angeles. I never prepped the president of Century 21 at all. So anyway, we go into his office, and we come in, sit down, very cordial. Americans are so cordial, and he just have a cup of coffee, could you get this? Actually, it's interesting, because his secretary was Susie Buffett, Warren Buffett's daughter. She was a secretary at that time. That's another whole story.
Wow.
But anyway, so we sat down, and so Richard, let me catch up with this thing now. Peter, his name was Peter Bladinikoff. My name is Peter Thomas. He said, Peter, let me catch up now. Peter's gotten into some trouble here, and he owes you a bunch of money, and you're a big credit union, and you're going to probably take Peter's assets, and so you're going to get Century 21. Is kind of like that. He said, because I want to just review this. He said, well, he said, I don't know if you understand what the franchise agreement is, what it says, but it was written personally to Peter Thomas. And unfortunately, there's a clause in there that if he goes bankrupt, it disappears. He said, he can't go bankrupt.
Right.
But he said, and Richard was musing, he said, if he did go bankrupt, probably what would happen is we'd need to replace him. And we want to get somebody else to run Canada. We're thinking about it. He said, we probably asked Peter if he wanted to run it. And you can see the credit man just disappearing in his chair. And
Wow.
I'll never forget that kindness.
Wow.
You know? And that's what real business is about. It's meeting people who you can ride, you hear the old story, ride the river with. But people who they're in the game forever. It's the game that they play, the game of life.
You've done a lot of real estate transactions,
I sure have.
and they have that adage, it's location, location, location.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying in all of your business deals, it's the people, the people, the people?
Oh, and real estate more than anything. I had an offer, the other day I had a deal come in El Paso, Texas, a hotel for sale, appraised at $14 million. I could buy the deal. The guy had it tied up for $4 million, and I could lend him $2 in a first position, because they would carry a second, not getting complicated, but for $2 million I could control a piece of real estate worth $14 million. So I like that. Sounds like pretty good. I'm secure, I get interest on my money, and I own half the deal is the way it was going to go. I thought, I like that deal. So I said to my guy, Kirk, I said, Kirk, run a check on this guy. And he came back, and the guy was appalling. It was like litigation, stuff like that.
Right.
Pass. Not even a bit interested.
Doesn't matter how good the deal is,
Correct.
if you can't work with the people.
Correct.
Wow. Thank you so much, Peter, for
Absolutely.
joining us on Biz 101. What a pleasure.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks, Randy.